Hey guys, I'm here reading chapter 18, which is due today, May 19th. Okay, that is chapter 18, and it is due today, Tuesday, May 19th. Here I go. Chapter 18. The next day, I spent pretty much every waking moment thinking about the raccoon. I was stressed. The people were coming from the Abadan Center today, and I really had no plan on how to keep the raccoon in place where they could see him. I had the chicken wings from the last night set aside, but that was basically it. If he decided that he wasn't in the mood for wings, I was sunk. And then, who knew if the people from the Abadan Center would even be willing to come back? My garbage cans and I would be in the same situation forever. And what about Racoon? It's not as if mom was going to let him into the house, so he'd never really have a family and he would be outside looking into our family forever. But on the other hand, what if I did get him to come to us with the chicken wings? And the guys from the Abadan toss a cage over him. He's captured, and that wasn't what he really wanted. Then he will go off to the Abadan and forever think that I was the one who tricked him into it. So you see, my stress was completely justified. There was a lot to consider. When the last bell rang, I raced out the door. I didn't have to wait for Hippo because this was his day to stay late after school for after school class, books, and cooks. Wait, you're surprised? Hippo takes an after school cooking class, but only knows how to make pizza bagels, and it's his night to cook. Yes, so we are. So are we. As I raced out the door, I heard Mr. Rondell yell, Peter Samuel Abbott! Peter Samuel Abbott! I poked my head back in the door. Yes? Are you planning to study for tomorrow's vocabulary test? Your workbook is still in the homework bin. I can see it from here. I raced back into the classroom and dodged bodies like a herding dog, racing against stampeding cattle. In my race to the homework bin, I knocked over Henry Fisher, who was standing in the middle of the classroom trying to fish an eraser cap out of his right nostril. Gross. Okay, turn the page. I gave Henry the required sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry, wave. As he struggled to get out from under the sea of the desperate third grade feet at the end of the long day. I tucked my vocabulary workbook under my arm like a football and ran for the 50-yard line. I ran all the way home. I expected to find either Deke or Grandma there. They usually come by to stay with us after school until Mom gets home from work. However, when I got home, Mom was already there, washing dishes at the kitchen sink. Mom, how come you're home already? I asked. I thought you might need help with the raccoon project, so I left work early. Yes! Yes! Well, the thing is, I'm worried that he won't show up, or that he will show up and run away once he gets here. Mom pointed to the living room. There in Olive's old puppy training crate was the raccoon. He was happily chewing away on a stalk of celery. How did you get him inside? I just put out the chicken wings you set aside last night. Then when he was almost finished, I made a trail of leftover french fries from the back door to the crate. Once I put Olive and the cats upstairs and opened the door to the raccoon, he was more than happy to just come right in. I think you might be right. The raccoon does seem to get lonely outside. I'll be interested to hear what the people from the Abadan have to say. Ding dong! Ding dong! The bell rang. Okay, I said, hurrying to the door. It's showtime! Raccoon, look precious. Mom! be convincing. I opened the door to see Ben and a woman I had never met standing in the doorway when they came in. Ben and I shook hands. Hello. And the woman introduced herself as Abby. When Abby and Ben walked in, their eyes immediately fell on the raccoon in Olive's crate. Wow! Ben said as he bent down next to the crate. How did you manage to wrangle this enormous fellow into your cage? It wasn't that difficult, really, Mom said. Once I held the back door open for him, Whoa, Abby interrupted. So you held the back door open and the raccoon just walked into the house? Abby looked shocked. And honestly, 20 minutes ago, I had the same reaction. Did the raccoon seem wild or crazy when he came into the house? Did he try to wreck anything? Ben asked. No, not at all, Mom started. He just trotted right over to the crate. I had those celery stalks sitting in there already, and he went right for them. He sniffed around a little first, but then he went right in there, grabbed his celery, and rolled around for a while. He seems happy as can be. Wow, Ben looked shocked. Would you mind if we just let him out of the cage for a few minutes? Just to monitor his behavior? I can put some newspaper down. Well, we'll put our gloves and be right there in case he needs to be scooped up quickly and put back into his cage. That's fine, Mom replied. I'm actually curious to see him waddle around here. Ben and Abby scooted some of the furniture out of the way. They created a little playpen for the raccoon by putting down newspaper in a circle and then surrounding them with a small plastic gate they had brought. Once everything was raccoon ready, they opened the door of the crate. The raccoon waddled out of the crate and scurried right into his little playpen. Ben and Abby reached into Olive's toy basket and tossed in a rubber hamburger and a squeaky mouse. The raccoon poked at the rubber hamburger with his snout. He eagerly sniffed around his play area, poking at the toys and sniffing for food. After the raccoon proved himself trustworthy, Ben scooped him up and plunked him down on his lap. This one is heavy. Someone in the house must be a good cook, Abby said. Well, Mom said. When I have the time. It's me, actually, I interrupted. There was no way I was letting her take credit for the raccoon's girth when I knew in my heart it was my ham and Gruyere tart that did it. Do we want to know if our friend is a boy or a girl? Asked Ben. Ben laughed. Why does the raccoon have to be a boy? Because you're a boy? I don't know, I started. It just never occurred to me that he would be a she. Well, there's only one way to find out, Ben said, while expertly flipping the she raccoon on his or her back. And then he, in a great detailed examined the parts that, as Mom and Dad say, only moms and dads and doctors see. I guess when referring to the raccoon, they should also include Ben, who works at the Abaddon, to that list. Sorry to disappoint you, Rabbit. That raccoon is a little girly girl. It's not that I was disappointed, but I was completely shocked. I had just always assumed that the raccoon was a boy. I'm not sure what would have made me believe that. It's not as if if raccoons wear clothes or even underwear. So, since you have been housing and feeding her, Rabbit, I think you should I think you should get the honors, said Abby. Of what? I asked. Naming her. What's a good name for our friend here? Well, we'll need to know what to call her at her new home. I went over to the raccoon and stroked her head like I do with Olive and the cats. I scratched under her chin with both hands and nuzzled her all the way up to the points of her little triangular ears. She leaned into my hands like a pet. When I stopped, she nudged my hand with rubbery end of her snout. I looked into her big, soft brown eyes and said, Hazel. Hazel Ann. Hazel Ann? Mom said with a surprised tone. Yep, I said, Hazel Ann. Might I ask why Hazel Ann? My mom asked with wide eyes, Hazel, because it sounds like a good name for a pretty little girl, and Ann for Aunt Annie. We're almost done, guys. We're right here. Aunt Annie is my favorite aunt. Whenever Hippo and I are with her, it's obvious that she loves us and her whole heart. Since I was the first nephew, I'm pretty sure she loves me more. Aunt Annie is love. So was this raccoon. I realized that we have enough pets. This is something Dad reminds us of every day. I understand that raccoons do not live indoors, nor do they live in cages like pets. I completely get why it would just be ridiculous to ask that we keep Hazel Ann. However, sending her away to the Abaddon was going to be very, very, very hard. I had to think fast. I needed a plan. It didn't take long before I had one. Alright guys, that was the end of chapter 18. Do not forget to answer your questions and color inside your story. Okay? Find the evidence. I'll see you later. Bye guys. See you soon.